Hi boys and girls, in this video I will be doing today's math lesson with you. So just as a recap of last week, we've been working on subtracting tens, specifically with double digit numbers, and we looked at 10 less, and then we talked about if we were to subtract groups of tens. So if we had 90 take away 50 would be 9 tens take away 5 tens equals 4 tens. So now what we're going to do is look at another method that you can use to subtract tens, and we will be using a number line to help us when we are counting back our tens. So if you open up your math books to lesson 12.4, it begins on page 467, and at the top it says subtract multiples of 10 from two-digit numbers. Eva picks 45 cherries. So right here, I'm going to write down 45. Okay. Chloe picks 20 fewer cherries than Eva. So remember, whenever we're talking about more than or fewer than, we know that we're looking for a difference. So we are looking to subtract because the answer to a subtraction problem is called the difference. So we're trying to figure out how many cherries Chloe picks. We know that Eva picked 45 cherries, and if we take away 20, that should give us how many cherries Chloe picked, because Chloe picked 20 less or 20 fewer than what Eva picked. So there's a few ways that we can do this. We could continue doing like we did last week, where we draw out 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's our 4 tens and 5 ones. And then we take away 1, 2 tens, which leaves us with 2 tens, which is 20, and 5 ones. So 25. And that way works perfectly fine. However, I told you that some of our brains work differently, and there are other methods that might be easier for us when we are subtracting. Over here, you can see that they have a number line. And remember that a number line goes on in both directions forever and ever to infinity. But we put these little arrows here just to represent that the number line keeps going, okay? So this particular number line starts at 25 and ends at 45. So they have 45 here, which is the number of cherries that Eva picked. And then they jump back 10, 20, so 2 tens, and it puts us at 25 on the number line. So just like we solved here where we took away 2 tens, we jumped back 2 tens on the number line, and we got our answer 25. All right, so if we move down now to the practice questions, you can see that they have a number line here for you that starts at 0 and ends at 80. And I have a number line here that I'm going to have start at 0, and then it would go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay? So let me get this one erased. Number 1 says 57 take away 30. So 57, which is 5 tens and 7 ones, take away 30, which is 3 tens. Remember, there's a few different ways I can do this. I could draw out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then take away 3 tens, 1, 2, 3. That leaves me with 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I would come up with 27 for my answer. The other thing that I could do is say, I know that my 7 ones are not going to change because we're only subtracting tens. So I can bring down my 7, and then using my number line, if I start at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which would be right here, and I jump back 3 tens, 10, 20, 30, that would put us at 20. So I can put my 2 tens there for 27. All right, let's go on now to number 2. Number 2 says 68, so 6 tens and 8 ones, take away 20. So I know that my ones are not going to change, so I can just bring down my ones. And now if I start at 60, which would be right here on my number line, I can jump back 2 tens. So 60, 50, 40, and put my 4 there. So 68 minus 20 equals 48. All right, let's take a look at number 3. 55 take away 50. Remember to start out, what do I know? I know that I'm not taking away any ones, so I can bring down my 5 ones. And now I have 5 tens take away 5 tens. So I can either say 5 take away 5 is 0, or starting at 50 on my number line, I can count back 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which would put me at 0. And I know that 55 take away 50 equals 5. All right, boys and girls, I want you to try to do numbers 4, 5, and 6 on your own. You can choose to use whatever method works best for you. If you like the method of drawing out your tens and ones and that helps your brain, I want you to do it that way. If you like using the number line where you can jump your pencil counting backwards by tens and that works for you, I want you to choose to do it that way. When you're finished with 4, 5, and 6, then you can move on to the next page. So you can pause the video right now, get those 3 problems done, and then we will move on. All right, so now that you've completed 4, 5, and 6, you can check your answers here. For number 4, you should have gotten 16. For number 5, you should have gotten 63. And for number 6, you should have gotten 34. If you got all 3 of those correct, you can kiss your brain. If you got any of them wrong and you have a question about why, feel free to reach out to me and I am happy to help you through Class Dojo. You can send me a video message or have one of your parents send me a message through the chatting app. Let's go on now to the top of the next page. For all of these problems, 7 through 14, you are going to choose whatever method you prefer to help you do the subtraction. So if you like using the number line, I want you to use the number line. If you like drawing out your tens and ones, I want you to draw out your tens and ones. If you prefer just to look at the numbers and subtract them going column by column, so you subtract your ones and you subtract your tens, you can do that. I'll go through 7, 8, and 9 with you, and then you can do the rest on your own. So number 7 says 67 take away 30. And for this one, I'm going to draw out my tens and ones. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to take away 30 or 3 tens. So that's 1, 2, 3. That leaves me with 3 tens and 7 ones. So 67 take away 30 equals 37. All right, now for number 8, I'm going to do it using the number line method. So for number 8, we have 78 take away 20. So on my number line, if we start at 0, this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So 78 would be up in here. Now I know I'm not taking away any ones, so I can bring down my 8. And now I can count back 2 tens. So I go 70, 60, 50. So now I know 5 tens and 8 ones. 78 take away 20 equals 58. Okay, and now for number 9, I'm going to show it to you using just your basic subtracting each of your columns. So 66 minus 60. So we start with our ones column and we say 6 take away 0 equals 6. And then we go to our tens column and say 6 tens, take away 6 tens equals 0. Now, I've told you this before, when we write a single digit number, we don't need that 0. So our answer for this one would just be 6. Now, boys and girls, I want you to go ahead and try to do 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 on your own. Don't let 13 and 14 confuse you. They're the same thing we've been doing. They just wrote them sideways across the page instead of top to bottom. So go ahead and do those problems right now and then unpause the video and we can check our answers. All right, so let's check your answers. For number 10, you should have gotten 17. For number 11, you should have gotten 3. For number 12, you should have gotten 44. For number 13, you should have gotten 27. And for number 14, you should have gotten 14. If you got all of those correct, you can kiss your brain and give yourself a big star. If you got any of those wrong, I encourage you to go back and look at them again and try to figure out where you made your mistake. All right, let's do number 15 together. Number 15 says Dean needs 38 points to win the game. So I'll put that number here. 38 points is what he needs to win. He already has 20 points. So how many more points does he need? We hear that word, how many more. Remember, whenever you hear how many more or how many less, we know we're looking for a difference. So we are subtracting. So if we take the number he needs and we take away 20, which is the number he already has, the difference will tell us how many more points he needs. So if we have 8 ones and we take away 0 ones, we will still have 8 ones. And if we have 3 tens and we take away 2 tens, that leaves us with 1 10. So how many points does he need? 18 points. So on your lines here, you should have 38 minus 20 equals 18. And then down here, Dean needs 18 more points. Okay, looking at number 16, which is greater? The difference between 59 and 30 or the difference between 45 and 20? And tell how you know. So looking at 59, take away 30, we can see that the difference between 5 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens, and 3 tens, 1, 2, 3, the difference is 2 tens or 20. And looking at the difference between 45 and 20, we can see that the difference between 10, 20, 30, 40, and 10, 20 would leave us 20. So we have 29 and 25. So because 29 is a greater number than 25, we know that the difference between 59 and 30 is greater than the difference between 45 and 20. All right, boys and girls, I want you to go through the problems on the next 2 pages, 469 and 470. Do your best to put in all of the answers, and then when you are finished with it, unpause the video and I will go over those answers with you. All right, boys and girls, here are the answers for the problems on 469. For number 1, you should have gotten 15. For number 2, you should have gotten 34. For number 3, you should have gotten 17. For number 4, you should have gotten 2. The answer for number 5 is 53. The answer for number 6 is 31. The answer for number 7 is 26. The answer for number 8 is 17. The answer for number 8 is 12, 9 is 17, and 10 is 7. At the top of the next page, number 1, you should have 5. Number 2, you should have 14. 3, 17. 4, you should have 12. 5, you should have 3. Number 6, you should have 21. Number 7, you should have 16. Number 8, you should have 32. Number 9, 35. And number 10, you should have 3. Hopefully you are understanding this, boys and girls, and I look forward to working more with you tomorrow. See you later.